Alright, what is going on, beautiful people out there? This is Evan. I hope y'all are doing well. I'm making a video today to talk about coffee enemas, and specifically I'll be addressing the 3-stage coffee enema cleanse. This is going to be kind of a follow-up video from my Coffee Enemas 101 video that I made. I might link that in the description for anybody who is interested in checking that out. I did recently get a comment. Somebody just got themselves a kit. Congratulations. That's an amazing step in a truly limitless direction, in my personal experience and opinion. Also depends on how consistent you stay with them. And coming from somebody who has definitely made mistakes with them, by either not being as consistent or treating your body in a certain way that isn't conducive to healing. I don't really think I have to go much into details with that. If you're already considering doing coffee enemas, you're probably very well aware that there's a lot of foods that can cause your guts to basically be in havoc. Lots of foods that cause excessive candida, like sugar, refined carbohydrates, and improper food combinations. So without further ado, I want to give some insights, some tips on how to make the process much more fruitful and to get to where you're going eventually for whoever you are, much quicker and much more efficiently and with a lot less suffering. So in the 3-stage coffee enema cleanse, the first enema consists of water and goat's milk soap. So what you do is you take 4 cups of water, you heat that up. I always do it on the stove. I never microwave it. Not only is the microwave just inconsistent with heating, it's also just unideal. So I take 4 cups of water in a pot that can hold that water, put it on medium heat, and I'll check the heat periodically until it gets to 100 degrees. And in that same measuring beaker that I measure the 4 cups out of, I'll drop my goat's milk soap in there, and then I'll pour a portion of the water on top of the goat's milk soap. And I'll let that sit in there for 1 minute. You can do anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And then once that timer is up, you take the goat's milk bar of soap out. And the way that I store it, I just wrap it up in a clean washcloth, and then I just store it in my bathroom. Super simple. You don't have to, I mean, if you got like a place where you can put soaps or whatever, that's away from, other soaps that you may or may not use, I just wrap it in a washcloth. And then once you go to do another one, so some of like the fibers might just get a little bit stuck to the goat's milk soap. Just take them off. As long as it's a clean washcloth, not a big deal. Then you pour the rest of the water into that now goat's milk infused solution of water. Put it into your enema bag that should be already set up, of course. That's pretty self-explanatory. And I'll lube the nozzle with a little bit of castor oil. That's the oil that I use. You could also use coconut oil, olive oil, any benign oil to lube the nozzle. Then you'll take that enema in and get up and release it on the toilet as much as you can. This is a great tip that I've started to realize is very beneficial. In between each enema, once I've released as much as I can, I'll start jumping up and down on my mini trampoline. And then once I get the feeling that a little bit more of something's going to come out, I'll just run to the toilet, release it, and then I'll go start jumping on the trampoline a little bit more again. Because if you go too quickly into the next enema, you can actually fill your colon up a little bit too much. From my personal experience, depending on how large of a person you are, it might not affect you as much, or that type of thing. But for me, this has been very beneficial. So once you've gotten all that out of the way, or however you choose to do this, you would heat up another 4 cups of water on the stove, And in that measuring beaker, you would put 1 teaspoon of Celtic sea salt in there, or a good high quality mineral sea salt, like Redmond sea salt also works just fine. I'll probably end up starting to do that once I run out of my Celtic sea salt. And in the kit, they send you an essential oil specifically for colon cleanses, specifically for that particular saline solution enema. What I do, I like to add 7 drops. Anywhere from 5 to 10 drops is fine, depending on how concentrated you want it. If you want to make that essential oil last longer, just add 5 drops. I like to add 7 just because I like 7, and it's not quite 10. So it lasts a little bit longer, and it's medium. It's a happy medium, let's say. And same idea, heat that water up to 100 degrees, pour that water into the beaker, and then I'll swirl it around, just to make sure all the salt is dissolved so it becomes a saline solution. And then you pour that into your enema bag. You could relube the enema nozzle. I find that I don't necessarily have to do it every time. So depending on your preference, totally up to you. Then you take that enema in, and I'll always lay on my right side. Have the enema bag hanging on some place where, it's higher than you, of course, and, the water can flow down. You'll find a way to do that, I'm sure, somehow, if you end up doing these. And so same idea, you take the enema in, get up, put yourself on the toilet and release. And then I'll start getting my coffee enema ready, and also rebounding in between these. Same idea, once you start to feel a little bit more release, go onto the toilet, release that, start rebounding on the mini trampoline again. And I'll basically rebound until my coffee enema is fully boiled, fully cooked. So I use Cafe Mam coffee, organic therapy roast, not a light roast. Even lighter than a light roast is therapy roast. I really like Cafe Mam's coffee. You can buy it in bulk for really cheap, like a 5-pound bag for I'm not sure how much it is now. It might be between $50 and $60 or something. But that will last you a long time. So if you go down that route, I'd recommend putting all that coffee into multiple mason jars, or one really big one if you got like a giant mason jar, glass mason jar. So 2 tablespoons of coffee, that's what I use. That's all you need. You could do 3 if you want a higher concentrated solution, but really you can, anyway, yeah, I'm not even gonna overcomplicate that. 2 tablespoons of the coffee in 4 cups of water. Bring that up to a boil, simmer it anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. Then once that timer's up, you'll bring it down to medium just to simmer it, and you can boil that from anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. Once that's done, you can strain it through an old clean shirt that doesn't have any dyes in it, cotton. Don't use a polyester shirt, cotton, or some kind of even like a cheesecloth, something like that. And I'll put the shirt on top of a metal strainer over the original beaker that I was using. And I'll put that in the sink just to have it all laid out, ready to go, even before I start doing any of this. Any of the boiling of the actual coffee. Once the coffee is totally done with the timers and all that stuff, I'll take the pot and I'll slowly pour it over the shirt, right over the beaker. And depending on the thickness of the shirt, if you have a thinner shirt, it's going to go through quicker, so you don't have to go as slow. And once almost all the water is out of the pot, I like to shake it a little bit just to get all the grounds out of there. Sometimes the grounds like to get stuck in there. They'll just kind of form a little pocket. I'll just shake it, kind of, you can kind of tell. Shake it and get all the rest of the liquid with the coffee that goes into that shirt. I'll let it sit for like 5 minutes or so just to let it cool off a bit. Then I'll lift the shirt up, squeeze, just to get, the extra liquid out. And then I'll just set the shirt off to the side, wherever I'm able to put it. And then since it's so hot, it dries pretty quickly. So usually the next day, it's dry enough to where you can just open it up and like, throw it in the garbage, or you could just take it outside and just, whip it all around, do whatever you want with your coffee grounds. Then this particular enema, you want to make sure that you cool that enema solution, that coffee enema solution, down to 100 degrees again. The way I like to do it to speed it up, I've got ice cubes that I just make from, one of those ice cube trays. I'll throw a couple of ice cubes in there, swirl them around until they melt, and then I'll see what the temperature is, and I'll be like, it's just kind of a touch and go type of thing. As long as you get that solution to 4 cups of water, approximately 4 cups of water, and as close to 100 degrees as you can. A little bit lower is fine, a little bit higher is fine. Just don't go too much higher than like 105 degrees or something. Then you pour that enema solution into the enema bag. And one other thing I want to mention is, like, after each one of these enemas, there will be a little bit of water left in the nozzle. So just to get rid of the extra liquid that's in the nozzle. Just something I like to do, just makes more sense. And that particular enema, if you're first starting to do these, you probably won't be able to hold this enema, the coffee enema, for very long. If you can hold it for 5 minutes, that's that's pretty awesome. I personally couldn't. I couldn't even go 5 minutes, even with the 3-stage enema. So 5 to 10 to 12 to 15 to 20 is almost kind of like the ladder of where you want to go with how long you can hold it. Some people say 20 minutes is max. Other people, I've held it longer than 20 minutes. You just don't want to go any more than 30 minutes, because then your body will start to reabsorb everything that your liver is pushing out. It's helping your liver to detox via stimulating the portal vein that goes from the liver into the large intestine. So once you release all that stuff, and then all of that, metabolic waste, toxic material, etc., sits in your colon for too long, you'll start to reabsorb a lot of that toxic material. If not all of it. I mean, depending on the way you do it. Just as a, as a safety thing, and just type of thing that I do, I just usually just hold it for 20 minutes, and that's fine. Then you release that, then I'll start rebounding again, jumping on the mini trampoline. And then I'll take after that, I'll have a solution of go-to cola powder, L-glutamine, and MSM sulfur. That's just what I do. You don't have to have like the MSM sulfur in there. It's just a supplement that I have that I need to use. It's a healthy supplement, and you're also supposed to take it on an empty stomach. So, and I also take liposomal vitamin C. Yeah, I'll put that in a blender. Just put it on real low. It's because sometimes the go-to cola powder tends to kind of clump up a little bit. So I'll just do a real quick like mix, not like a full-on blend of it. Just mix it up, and then I'll pour it back into, or I'll pour it into like a glass jar, and I'll slug that down. So now you've got your gut rebuilding materials that are going in to your colon to start rebuilding the inner gut lining after you got everything out of the way, so that these healthy things can actually get to the gut wall, which is 9 times out of 10 damaged and permeated already from, just unbeknownst to us, living in a way that's just very unnatural. And so it's nobody's fault, really. Taking the initiative to do something like this is a very, very noble and wonderful thing, and you will be improving your life every time you do one of these. And the more consistent you are with them, like I said, the better. You got to be sure. I'm coming from a place where I've gone back and forth many times. I've fallen down a lot, more than I'd even like to recollect or count. But to be honest, I don't regret any of it. I don't regret a single decision I ever made. Because then I wouldn't be here doing this particular exact thing right now. I'd be somewhere else doing something else. And I'm not going to put a label on whether it'd be better or worse, because really, that's pointless. Because I'm here right now. And all of us are. And you are too. So I just want to thank all y'all for tuning into this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Have any questions or comments, feedback, let me know. And until next time, shred on words, warriors.